What's up, people, and welcome to another episode of the Supreme Decisions. And today I want to talk about 9 steps of interrogations, because what most people don't understand is whether you are sitting in your car on the side of the road or you're sitting in a room with police officers speaking with you, there are techniques that are being done that you may need to be aware of, because all of them do the exact same thing. And the greatest thing about that is the fact that it's given a name and it has been discredited several times over, and it's called the Reid Technique. Well, in the Reid Technique, the interrogations are in a step of 9 for the most part, because those are the most important. Step 1 is direct confrontation. If you're on the side of the road and that direct confrontation is basically them walking up to your window and asking you questions, and they advise the suspect that the evidence has led the police to the individual as a suspect, which if it's a traffic infraction, that's what they'll do. But it's also within their law of must articulate. Now, they don't have to be honest, they don't have to tell the truth, but they must articulate and make you believe that you are involved in a crime. And basically, during this direct confrontation, it offers you an opportunity to admit guilt, because everything you say and do will be held against you. Not in the court of law, but it will be held against you. 2, they'll try to shift the blame away from you to someone other than yourself, to set up a form of circumstances which allow you to, quote unquote, tell on yourself, which is the means of why you have the right to remain silent, because they do not have to be honest, and they will make up anything. They will tell you anything because of convenience and fear, because that is all this is about. It is about generating revenue. It is not about law. Number 3, they'll try to minimize the frequency of you denying anything. And the whole purpose is to get you nodding yes. It's just like in any other sales technique. You get the yes by getting them to nod their head. This would be them getting you to nod your head and then walking you right into a confession of something that you more than likely didn't do. Why? Because it's not about them solving a case. It's about them closing a case. Technique 4, what happens is generally those that are being confronted will come up with a reason why, or an alibi. You are not obligated to offer an alibi, because you are not the accuser and you have the right to confront your accuser. But again, this is a technique for you to confess or generate revenue for the state. And technique 5 is generally when you have the good cop, bad cop, and they give you things such as soda. They give you something with caffeine, coffee. And basically it's to reinforce sincerity, to ensure that they are receptive to you talking. Because most people don't understand, nobody cares about your side except for you. They will listen to your side, because whatever you say will be held against you, and you can't argue with yourself, which is often why I say get the police report, because what they cannot do is argue against themselves. Technique number 6, and as you become quiet and you begin to listen, they move their theme discussion toward offering alternatives, which then they will infer that you are guilty. Notice it didn't say anything about proof. They will infer that you are guilty, and then that will infuriate you. Why? Because they're making it an emotional issue, and the law has nothing to do with emotion.
The law is the law, fixed, immutable, words with precise meanings, and that's good.
And then I like to call this the OJ question. It's step number 7. They'll pose the alternative theory question, and basically giving you 2 choices for what happened. Because again, they weren't there to witness it. They generally do not have an actual witness of a crime. This is also something that you can't really argue with, because they'll tell you things like, oh, well, we have it on the gun. We have it on this. You don't know when that gun was last calibrated. You don't even know if that's what they saw on the gun. You were not trained in the usage or the functioning of that gun. So, how does that benefit you? Just like I explained to you, polygraphs are not accepted in every state. It is only a select few. Step number 8, the lead suspect to repeat the admission of guilt in front of witnesses. Basically, this is where they'll do some more manipulation. This is where they'll do more lying. This is where they'll do things to convince you that you're guilty, or you will be committed or convicted as guilty. This is why I always remain silent. Shut up. Make them prove their case, because it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
All right, listen. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove, okay? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
And lastly, document the suspect's admission or confession and have him or her prepare a recorded statement. What happens is, a lot of time the initial portion of your video is not recorded, which is one of the things I often comment on whenever I see or listen to a police officer's body cam, because generally what happens is either the audio is missing if they show it, or they don't have video at all. Why? Because it's not to their benefit if it is recorded. So these are the things. Remember, direct confrontation. They'll shift the blame away from you to offer you a secondary choice for it. They'll try to memorize the frequency of you denying. And then when you sit up here and you come up with the points that will or will not be given for the crime, they'll offer you an opportunity to speak. Then they reinforce their sincerity to you. And as you become quiet, they begin to infer. The OJ theory is they'll offer alternatives to what happened. Then they'll have you repeat the admission of guilt in front of witnesses, and then document your statements, either video or handwritten. Why? Because the pen is mightier than the sword, which is why you always get the police report. This is what I got for you right now. Just know I'm coming stronger each time. So keep donating. We've got the new camera. We're still growing. We're getting ready to move into some other things that I'm going to do a post on. So be on the lookout for it. Keep donating through Apple Pay. And when you do that, please send me a text with your name. I want to shout you guys out. Venmo, Cash App, and as Noel loves you, Google Wallet. So again, talk to you guys soon.
Do not try and bend the spoon. That's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon?
Then you'll see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself.